Hey guys, Trevor here with E-commerce Paradise, and today's episode I'm going to talk about what it means to be an authorized dealer. So as a entrepreneur doing high-ticket drop shipping, it's really important that you understand what becoming an authorized dealer really means and why you need to do it for high-ticket products. It's not so essential for low-ticket products, and I'll explain why later, but for doing high-ticket products, anything over $100 or $200, it's really important that you have an actual dealer agreement with the suppliers that you work with. So to start off with, a authorized dealer basically means you're going to fill out a dealer agreement with a supplier who is a manufacturer. So that means that you're going to have to contact suppliers, usually by phone, ask them if they're accepting new retail dealers at the moment, and then get their dealer agreement. You'll fill that out, which is basically an application that includes all your business information, and then you will now be an authorized dealer. So at that point, they should provide you with a price list. That includes the wholesale price, which is your cost for the product, the MAP pricing, which I'll get into in a little bit here what MAP pricing is, and then MSRP, which stands for Manufacturer's Suggested Retail Price. So those three price points are key because you'll be advertising the MAP and the MSRP on your website, whereas the wholesale cost will tell you what your margin is. All right, once you know MAP, it's important to understand what MAP is. MAP stands for Minimum Advertised Price. So minimum advertised price is a concept, whereas a manufacturer does not allow any of their retailers, their authorized dealers, to advertise under that price. So it creates a level playing field for all of their retail dealers, which is great. And it also provides you with the ability to offer a low price guarantee on those products that you sell, which increases your chances for getting conversions because it increases the value of your offering on your website. So understand that it's good to only work with supplier manufacturers that offer MAP policy agreements, okay? The next thing is that suppliers that will offer you an authorized dealer agreement will provide you also with their return policy, warranty policy, and shipping times, all of which you must post to your site and link to from the product descriptions on each of the product description, right? And the reason there is because as a online retailer, you don't have your own warehouse or retail storefront, you're going to be relying on them for their return policy and for their warranty policy and their shipping times. So all of the suppliers' policies are going to become your policies, right? So you're not only drop shipping the product, essentially you're drop shipping your policies as well. Now, the next thing is I want to explain each of those a little bit. So without a warranty to fall back on, the problem is that you'll become liable to fix or replace any of the products that you sell online. So that's why you want to work with actual USA-based supplier manufacturers who will offer you an authorized dealer agreement and a warranty policy of their own. So if you sell and ship one of their products that and something goes wrong with it, either it arrives damaged or something's wrong with it right out of the box, they will have a warranty policy to back that up that you'll be able to go and draw from. And usually the way that works is the customer contacts you or the manufacturer directly. Sometimes they have like their number on the box, and they'll start, they'll tell them what happened to it. If it's shipping damage, they'll tell you, hey, it arrived damaged, what should I do? And you can say, hey, just refuse it. And then the manufacturer will then file a claim with the shipping company and ship out a brand new unit to the customer. The best manufacturers will do that, and I suggest only working with manufacturers that do that and don't give you a hard time about it. Don't try to charge you extra fees for the shipping or anything like that. Now, the other thing, if it arrives and it is not working for some reason, it's non-functional, usually the way it works is the customer needs to provide pictures or video or some kind of an explanation what's happening to it, and then they'll work with the warranty department at the supplier directly without having to go through you, and they'll try to fix the situation, or they'll provide replacement parts that will fix the situation. They usually do not cover labor, but at least the parts will be there to fix it. And if nothing can be fixed for some reason, then usually the manufacturer will just take the unit back. The customer may have to pay for shipping back though, because a lot of times the warranty does not cover shipping or labor, which can be a lot, can make some upset customers sometimes. And in that situation, I recommend just covering the shipping costs just to have that customer be happy. Sometimes the manufacturer will cover shipping the product back, but they won't cover shipping the product to them or something like that. So usually you don't have to pay the whole thing, but it varies from supplier to supplier. But the key is you want to have that warranty policy in place, especially with high ticket products, because if you're selling products that are over $500, over $1,000, you can imagine how much risk you're taking on if something goes wrong. All right, so now that you understand, let's get into why you want a firm return policy you can fall back on. Without a return policy to fall back on, you will be liable to take products back that you sell online. Okay, that's key to understand. It's illegal to sell online without having some sort of a return policy in place. Google knows this. Shoppers know this, right? So you need to have a return policy, and usually you have some sort of a blanket return policy for your online retail website, but then you have that backed up by the manufacturer's return policy. So something like 30 days would be your blanket policy, but then refer to our manufacturer's policy is a good way to do it. And then on that same page, each of your manufacturer, supplier, agreements, return policies will actually be on that page. So then you'll have that. If it happens to be 30 days, fine, 60, 90 days, whatever it happens to be, the return policy should be clearly laid out there. Any exclusions are in there as well, okay? Without a return policy, you would be liable to take that back. So you need to become an authorized dealer. Otherwise, if a customer wants to return something, you've got to take it back. You can say all sales are final, right, on your website, but that lowers your conversion rates because it's not a very good offer. It's really good to have a nice, easy, fair return policy for consumers. You know, they'll be feeling better to buy from your website. It's a thing called risk reversal. So you need to understand how to reverse the risk in their mind of buying from your website. And you know, the other thing too is that if you end up doing it without a return policy, without becoming an authorized dealer, and the product's $500,000, you're going to have to take that product back. You're going to be spending that money out of pocket. Then you're going to have to try to flip it on Craigslist or eBay or something. So that's a big pain in the butt. All right. And then if you sell products online without first becoming an authorized dealer, it's pretty much like doing retail arbitrage. If you haven't heard of retail arbitrage, you can type that into YouTube and find out what it is. I'll explain it to you very simply here, though. It's basically you as an entrepreneur putting a product for sale online that you found on a website like HomeDepot.com or like Walmart.com or even Amazon.com. Maybe offering it for sale on eBay.com, for instance. So this kind of a method of doing business is really profitable sometimes because a product that's listed on HomeDepot.com might not actually be listed on eBay.com, or it might be there, you know, one or two listings. But since there's no actually authorized dealer agreement, you can mark it up whatever you want, right? Hopefully it would sell. And sometimes you can mark it up as high as like 40% and it actually sells. So people are shopping on eBay because they like using eBay. A lot of, you know, people with a lot of money just shop on eBay. They don't want to shop around. It takes time and effort for them to do that. So they'll actually buy stuff on there without shopping around, you know, much. And if Home Depot isn't running ads in other places like Google for that product, then that person never even knows Home Depot has it for cheaper, right? So that's how that method works. You can sell products online doing that. But by doing that, you're basically not being an authorized dealer, so you don't have any of the actual manufacturer's return policies. Like for instance, if you sell like a DeWalt drill that Home Depot sells on their website, you're not going to get DeWalt's warranty policy. You're not going to have an agreement with DeWalt. You'll have an agreement with Home Depot, right? And so you have to fall back on Home Depot's policies then as if you are the consumer. But somebody else is actually the consumer. So it makes this whole thing a little bit more complicated by having a retail buyer selling to another end consumer retail buyer, right? So the end consumer doesn't really know that they're buying it from Home Depot. They think they're buying it from eBay. So they're going to contact you, hopefully. But if Home Depot, you know, sent an invoice on that package and they see that and they call the number, they're like, oh, okay, well, let me buy Home Depot. And then they give them their information. Home Depot is not going to have any of their information. They're going to have your information. So they'll say, oh, I don't have your order. And then they might get scared and pissed off and write you, you know. So there's a whole level of stuff. And I've actually dealt with that. Being an authorized dealer, selling things on Amazon, I dealt with a order where a person doing retail arbitrage on a high ticket item, I think it was like a $700 item, actually had the end consumer have the product arrived and it was damaged or something like that. And I had no idea he was doing retail arbitrage. So I was going back and forth with the supplier and him, and the consumer had called the manufacturer directly, and it was a big mess because I had no idea what was going on until I started realizing that the seller's email address was a different name than the name of the person I shipped it to, which I thought, oh, I know what's going on. It's retail arbitrage. This guy who bought it, you know, obviously shipped it to somebody else, and now he's doing the in-between for the in-betweener, which is me. So it was a really ridiculous thing to deal with. I suggest nobody ever does retail arbitrage with anything over like $100, just because when you have a broken or messed up item, you really just want to be able to offer a full refund for that product without having to deal with it. Going through refund process and all that stuff is a mess. So if you're going to do retail arbitrage, don't do over like $100 items, just so that if somebody hasn't messed up, you can just write it off and keep focusing on selling more. Okay. With that being said, as a retailer, don't look for people to become your dealer. Okay. I've seen this on some websites, and I just think it's silly. You're basically asking for people that do retail arbitrage, and you really don't want to deal with them. So instead, create an affiliate program for your VIP customers and social media influencers. Affiliate programs are great for you as a high-ticket dropshipper, as an authorized dealer, because then you're going to still deal directly with the end consumer. Okay, that person that sold your product for you, sold it in a way where they were just referring the person to you. So you're still dealing directly with the end consumer. And it's a lot easier to deal with this and also still take advantage of the fact that somebody else is actively out there promoting your products, or passively out there promoting your products through blogging or YouTube or something like that. So some great things to keep in mind here, guys. It's really important that you understand what an authorized dealer means, what it means to be one, how to become one, right? We talked about that. We talked about all the different things you should definitely get from your suppliers and how to determine what are the best suppliers to deal with. Let's go briefly over those again just to wrap up this video. Number one is you want to only deal with suppliers that offer MAP policies, MAP pricing policies, minimum advertised price. That's key. You also want to work with suppliers that offer a really good firm return policy and a warranty policy, and fast shipping times. Okay, so you don't want to deal with suppliers in China, right? Shipping directly to your customers, because there's a really long shipping time. So deal with suppliers in the USA. With high-ticket dropshipping specifically. Okay, and if you do want to do retail arbitrage, don't do it with high-ticket products, do it with low-ticket products. Could you do them at the same time? Sure, you could have a side hustle. You could have a couple different side hustles. It's up to you. I would recommend focusing on one big thing, choosing the one thing that you are the best at, that you think can make you the most money in the least amount of time, and doing with that. Have I done both? Yes. Retail arbitrage does work, and I've had success with it. However, I didn't make as much money per order, and it still took me as much time and effort to do it as it did for high-ticket dropshipping. With high-ticket dropshipping, I make 10 times as much to 20 or 30 times as much per order in net profits, right? And it takes me the same amount of time, actually generally less, because I have my systems and procedures down now, so I can actually outsource the work really good. And there's a lot less BS to deal with because you're dealing directly with the manufacturer. You have their warranty and return policies. So basically, with all this said and done, I would recommend high-ticket dropshipping over retail arbitrage. It's also a longer-term play. It's more of a thing where you're going to be advertising the same products over a longer period of time, as opposed to having to find and redo posts all the time. With retail arbitrage, you kind of have to be updating and constantly posting new things, and it's a pain in the butt. So keep that in mind, guys. If you guys are interested in high-ticket dropshipping, you can get my niches list for free. If you want to get an idea of what products and niches there are that are profitable in the marketplace, I have a list of 99 niches. These are the best, most profitable niches that I've come up with. So check that out. Go to ecommerceparadise.com, right? And it's right at the top of there. Or just go to ecommerceparadise.com/99 niches, and link is also in the description below. And that will take you then to my free mini course, which is called Dropship Secrets. It's basically an 8-video course that explains everything there is that I know about high-ticket dropshipping that I've experienced in the last 5 or 6 years of actually doing this specific business model. Before that, I was doing things like retail arbitrage, and I was doing other things as well in the e-commerce entrepreneurship side hustle world. So I've been doing this stuff for about 10 years. I started selling on eBay, sold on Amazon as well, and then I moved into doing my own e-commerce platform and store. Since then, I've successfully sold 4 different high-ticket dropshipping websites, one of them for $50K, another for $60, and then 2 more for $50K after that each. So I've successfully sold $210,000 worth of high-ticket dropshipping stores, along with probably a good, $50K per year in the last 5 years. So that's looking at about $500,000 or more in net profits in the last few years. So it's not like the craziest thing that's going to make you super filthy rich, but it will provide you with sustainable income. That's about as much money as you would get paid being a manager at a high-paying job, right? So And it's something where I only have to work a few hours a day, and I can outsource most of the work. I can travel the world. I have this time freedom, which is actually way more valuable to me than any kind of financial freedom can provide, but the freedom to do what I want to do with my time. And also, like I said, travel the world, so I can actually go all these places and spend more time in these places like Thailand and Bali and Europe, and wherever else in the world I want to be. And I can relax and enjoy those places instead of just being on vacation, right? I can actually live in these places, which is really cool. And it's a lot different, but it's worth it, and it's definitely a lot of fun. So if you're, working a high-paying job and you're just looking to get your time back in your life, this is something to consider. You should really think about starting high-ticket drop shipping, just because you don't need as much marketing experience to get going with it. In fact, you don't really need much experience at all. You just need to kind of take action. You'll learn as you go. There's other business models out there for making money online, but they have a longer learning curve. High-ticket dropshipping has a lower, faster learning curve. So that's why I recommend it for beginners, right? So if you're interested, go check out ecommerceparadise.com. I have a high-ticket dropshipping masterclass where I actually teach in-depth, step-by-step, how to do all this stuff, how to set up a profitable website, how to set up your marketing channels, how to drive traffic, how to get sales, and how to deal with those sales. So check that out, guys. It's called the High Ticket Dropshipping Masterclass. You go to ecommerceparadise.com/masterclass. You can see it there. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.